How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Bitcoin is falling a bit right now. We see it around 67,000, and a lot of people are probably wondering, man, should I be buying right now? We're falling. Could we fall further? What's going to happen from here? Was that the bull market? I've seen some people making jokes about that. Oh, that's a nice bull market, see, in 3 years. And I want to talk about why I still think you want to be buying Bitcoin and probably get up to that 0.15 mark in terms of Bitcoin. Now, of course, do your own research. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen next week. I don't even know what's going to happen next month. But over the next year, I have a pretty good idea what's going to happen for crypto and Bitcoin specifically. And also, these numbers are a bit arbitrary, right? If you're sitting on $5 million, you're probably going to want more than 0.15 Bitcoin. If you're sitting on a negative net worth of 100 grand, you might not be able to get up to 0.15 Bitcoin, but we'll work through it. So right now we're seeing a bit of a dip, right? I do want to say before we get started, if you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn the bell notification underneath the video. There's also a link down there to Margex in case you want to trade cryptocurrency on leverage. You can do that with the link underneath the video. Now, it's not right for everyone. Make sure you do your own research, but there's no KYC, which means you can get started in just a few seconds without giving out a bunch of your personal information. There's also a link down there to CoinW as well in case you want to trade cryptocurrency on leverage, and you can also buy spot. So Bitcoin's falling. We fell from 73.7 down to 66,000, something like that, about 12% maybe. And a lot of people are getting a little bit worried, thinking that we could fall further. Some people are saying 50 grand, some people are saying 10 grand, some people say that it's over completely. I think some are joking, but obviously there's fear in the market a little bit. People are wondering, okay, how much is this gonna dip? And how I view Bitcoin is kind of like an escalator, like a really, really, really long escalator that moves very fast. In the sense that, yeah, if you're going up the escalator, you can fight against it. You can, the price can go down, kind of like you can go down an escalator that's going up. You can do that, but with enough power and if it's long enough, you don't last very long. You can't outrun it. You can fight against it for a short time, and maybe you can go down it slightly, but then it keeps moving up. That's kind of how I view it. It goes up most of the time, and it goes up significantly most of the time, right? That's why we've gone from a few dollars, a few cents per Bitcoin up to $70,000 per Bitcoin. Now, does that mean that we can't fall further? No, of course we can always fall further. I've been saying that for years at this point, that we don't know what's going to happen short term. But long term, in a bull market, it's typically a good time to be buying, right? Now, I think that people wonder, how are we falling when the ETFs are buying so much? And in the end, it just comes down to there are more sellers than buyers. That's how it works, right? Someone is selling. I saw some accounts on Binance were transferring over, and it looked like they were selling some Bitcoin, 5,000 Bitcoin here or there. There's some manipulation for sure, trying to get some longs liquidated, and they do that. And we'll see this continue to happen during the bull market. A 10% drop, 12% drop is not abnormal. That always happens during bull markets in Bitcoin. Usually we see 30% drops, 40% drops, and then they go right back up. And in the end, the thesis hasn't changed, right? The governments continue to print more and more money. People continue to go into more debt and more debt. The government continues to print more money. And of course, those aren't exactly correlated, right? The government prints to do all types of things, but we continue to print more money. We continue to become a more indebted society, and we continue to have this funny money. It doesn't really matter. You can continue to expand it and expand it, and Bitcoin is hard. There's only so much. No matter how high the price goes, there's never going to be more created. Unlike gold or silver, where if it becomes more valuable, they mine more of it. It's more profitable, so they mine it in more places. So The thesis hasn't changed. The midterm thesis as well, or the last like couple of year thesis of ETFs buying Bitcoin hasn't changed either. They continue to buy more and more Bitcoin. It's being offered to more and more people in retirement accounts and funds. This is continuous. So the thesis has not changed in the long term or the midterm. Short-term thesis, there's some sellers. There's some people either taking profits or trying to wipe out some people that are using leverage. But this is healthy. This is healthy because if we just moved up from, let's say, 40,000 or 30,000 all the way up to 100,000 without any 10%, 15% dips, this would probably not be a very long-lasting bull market. Right? The faster we go up, the more greedy people get, the more freaked out they get when they see drops. If you're someone that has gone from 40,000 up to 70 and then down to 60, then back up, like maybe you're okay with a little bit more volatility compared to if we go straight up and we drop, you're probably gonna get freaked out and sell pretty much right away. This shakes out a lot of the lettuce hands, a lot of the weak hands, a lot of the people that don't really want to hold on to Bitcoin. They think they do, but as soon as they see a little bit of volatility, then they sell, they get freaked out. So it shakes out those people and gives it to the people that really hold it for the long term. Like we've seen the ETFs by significant amounts the last few days. We've also seen MicroStrategy just complete a offering for $525 million, a senior secured note filing, and that means they're basically going to go use that $525 million to go buy Bitcoin, most likely this weekend, which is pretty bullish. So this is okay. This is okay, right? Just a little bit of a dip. We're going to be fine. As long as you hold on, maybe you dollar cost average. I'm accumulating some more Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies the last few days. We're going to see some miners and some other crypto related stocks probably fall a good amount too, which could be a nice little pickup. If you're looking for something a little bit more complex with maybe a little bit more upside. Now, why do I say get to 0.15 Bitcoin? And you could do this in a variety of ways. Maybe you even want to go through the ETFs and get the equivalent of 0.15 Bitcoin. The reason I say that is that costs about $10,000 today. Now, a day or two ago, it cost $11,000. But if you look a couple months ago, that would have cost a lot less when we were at 40,000. Okay, 0.15 Bitcoin would have cost about $6,000. Not very much, right? Compared to $10,000. And right now, $10,000 gets you that 0.15 Bitcoin. In, I don't know, a year and a couple months, that's probably going to be worth 20 grand, 30 grand, maybe 40 grand. And 0.15 Bitcoin is also a pretty significant amount because it gets you in the race. Like right now, $10,000 is a lot of money for a lot of people, right? It's the price of a new car. A lot of people can never get to that point. A lot of people can never even get a few $1,000s in investments. But $10,000, 5 figures into the best appreciating asset of all time, that's pretty good. And if you can get more in the asset, obviously you're going to do better. For some people, 0.15 Bitcoin is nothing. Like they could buy that with what they make in a day or a few hours. For some people, that would take literally years. But once you get to that point, you're really in the game. Like at least if you make an average salary or maybe a little bit more than average, like you've probably been buying for a while, you've been accumulating, you've been going through dips up and down. So you're probably like I don't want to say a veteran, but you can probably handle some volatility. You also know the on-ramps and the off-ramps. You know how to actually buy crypto. If you just buy 0.001 Bitcoin or something, it's also very hard to move around. Like you could never self-custody 0.001 Bitcoin. I guess you could, but you're going to pay a few dollars in fees to send it anywhere, which wouldn't be real beneficial to self-custody. If you have, let's say, $40 and you have to pay $5 in fees to move it around. So it also gives you the ability, at least right now, to self-custody if you have 0.15 Bitcoin, which means that you have control over your own crypto. Of course, you could always leave it in Coinbase or something, Binance, but it does give you some extra flexibility. And during the next bull run, it will be really hard for a lot of people to get 0.15 Bitcoin. Like, again, just think about how many people can put $40,000 or $30,000 in investments versus 10,000. Like, it weeds out probably 70% of people that could buy, maybe if you took everyone that could buy $10,000, right? And then say, okay, buy $40,000. Probably 70 or 80% of people couldn't do that. Maybe 90%. Also, when you just look at the number of millionaires divided by the amount of Bitcoin, like most millionaires won't be able to buy a quarter of a Bitcoin. When you look at how much Bitcoin there is, right? There's 2 million Bitcoin left on exchanges, and there's 60 million millionaires in the world. Like, just divide that up. There's not much to go around. So you would have significantly more than the average millionaire if you have 0.15 Bitcoin. Of course, the number's a bit arbitrary right now, but $10,000 I think is a good goal for a lot of people. And if you've got more than that, fantastic, right? Keep on stacking. I know I am continuing to stack, continuing to enjoy life too in the meantime, right? It's more important than just numbers on a screen. You gotta make sure that you enjoy life because you don't know what's happening tomorrow. But I appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Let me know what you're buying too. A lot of altcoins down 5%, 10%, 20% over the last 24 hours. I've seen more than that. And some of these are high flyers. Like, they've done extremely well over the last couple months. I've had a couple of cryptocurrencies that have 20x, 30x since I invested, and now they're pulling back 20 or 30%. So yeah, there's definitely some buying opportunities out there for the next bull run. Of course though, like I said, you never know what's gonna happen. Probably best to dollar cost average unless you can time the bottom perfectly. There's also a link down there to Margex in case you want to trade cryptocurrency, like I said, and CoinW. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.